I've been building my own kingdom for everyone to see. It exists to keep me safe from harm, and it's intact to glorify me. Nobody helped me build this up. It was me and me alone. I've appointed myself as the king, and I've given myself the throne. But it turns out I'm no ruler, and I have no control. So I have decided to destroy it all. I'm tearing down the walls, kicking down the doors. Everything inside this kingdom is yours. 'Cause what I've made is worthless, and it cannot stand. Come and breathe some life into my empty, cold, dead hands. Down with the fickle king, away with this fantasy. You are the one I need. Death to the kingdom of me. Death to the kingdom of me. I should probably be frightened. This empire's all I know, but it always does more damage than good. I'm afraid it's gotta go. I know that I can't be trusted, 'cause I'm just a man. And if you hadn't given your life for me, a loser would be all that I am. You know they say just follow your heart. I'm afraid that's a load of trash. Your heart will take you down to deep, dark places where you feel like you'll never come back. So I'm coming out of the dark. This facade is... I woke up feeling like it was time to tighten up. Yeah, I woke up feeling like it might be a good day to get it done. That's right. Oh, the stadium is just like my second house. Now I'm two-tone talking, they can't shut my mouth. I woke up feeling like it was time to tighten up. Yeah, 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 yeah. I woke up feeling like it was time to tighten up. Oh yeah, it is Friday afternoon. Welcome everybody to the Two-Tone Talk by God Pod, episode 102. It is Friday, September 13th, and we are barreling toward week 2 of NFL football for the Titans. The home opener is the New York Jets are coming to town. We're going to talk about that today. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be in Nashville this Sunday. Me and the wife are going to the game. It is her first Titans game. And it's not my first, but it is her first. And we're going to be there on Sunday. Looking forward to that. Regardless of the outcome, it's going to be good to be back in Nissan Stadium among the other Titans fans. Good to see you, everybody, today, whether you are watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify or SoundCloud. I appreciate you very much. So we want to get the taste of week 1 out of our mouths, don't we? Because I don't know if you guys have been seeing the same things I've been seeing. Will Levis in particular has been the butt of a lot of jokes this week because of his pick six against the Bears last Sunday. A lot of people with some things to say about Will Levis, and the only person who can change that narrative is Will Levis. He's going to have to play better. And so let's talk about Titans-Jets. But before we do, I want to briefly talk about the game from last night, which was the Bills and the Dolphins, AFC East matchup last night. And we all know the main story coming out of that game is Tua, but I just want to say that I had predicted that the Bills would take a significant step back this year, and so far it don't look like that's going to happen. So far, it does not look like the Bills are taking a step back because they stomped the Dolphins last night on Thursday Night Football. And, of course, the big story coming out of that game is Tua Tagovailoa exited the game with another concussion, a very scary moment in the game. And this is, I think, the third time that's happened to him in his career. A lot of people talking about it today. I know the head coach of the Dolphins, Mike McDaniel, said that people shouldn't be speculating. People shouldn't be talking about this. People shouldn't be talking about what the next step is for Tua. But I will say, as a resident of the state of Alabama, I watched Tua at the University of Alabama when he was in college. I mean, I think he needs to I think he needs to seriously consider calling it. I mean, that's scary. Those have been scary moments with Tua when he suffers these concussions in games. And I just, he's such a young guy. Man, that's scary, and it's happened to him multiple times. If I'm his family, if I'm his parents, if I'm his friends, I don't know if he's married, but if I'm his wife, if I'm anybody close to him, you got to be setting this guy down at this point. But even before the injury, the Bills absolutely whooped the Dolphins last night. And don't look now, but okay. The Titans, I know week one was terrible. But now you're in a situation where you have the Jets coming to town this weekend in what I consider to be a winnable football game. Okay, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's never easy. But this Sunday, Jets-Titans should be a winnable game for the Titans. The Jets did not look good Monday night against the 49ers, and I do understand the 49ers are arguably the best team in the NFL, so you have to keep that in mind too. The 49ers are great. On the road in San Francisco, a lot of travel for the Jets on a short week because they played on Monday night, traveling to San Francisco, traveling back home, and now traveling to Nashville. A lot of travel for them. Aaron Rodgers, to me, still looks rusty, coming back from that injury, being older. Aaron Rodgers definitely looks rusty, and I think, I don't want to jinx it, but outside of Garrett Wilson, I think their wide receiver 2 is Allen Lazard. I mean, so it's a winnable game for the Titans because of the way they match up and how good the Titans defense played in week one. If they can play like that again, everybody's healthy. I don't think there's anybody out with an injury for this game. So this should be a winnable game for the Titans. We obviously know the Titans' bye week is in week 5, unfortunately, but let's just look to the future a little bit. I know we're talking Titans-Jets, but now you have opponents in week 3 and week 4. The Packers in week 3 and the Dolphins in week 4, and both of those teams have very uncertain quarterback situations right now. Malik Willis, yes, Malik Willis is starting for Green Bay against the Indianapolis Colts this Sunday. And I will say, if Malik Willis leads the Packers to a victory over the Colts, that would be hilarious, but it would also frighten me because if there is a team that Malik would be prepared to play, it would be the Titans because he was here. But you could very well be playing the Malik Willis-led Packers at home in week 3, and you could be playing the Skylar Thompson-led Dolphins in week 4. And even with Tua, when he was in the game, the Dolphins looked horrible last night. So there are games now. I mean, we talked all offseason about how tough this first month was going to be for the Titans. Bears, Jets, Packers, Dolphins. That's a tough first month. And I said if the Titans could be 2-2 going into the bye, that would be good. If they could be 2-2. We knew that would be tough, especially with losing to the Bears week 1. So now, it's really tough. But these games look a little more winnable than they did a week ago, with Jordan Love likely being out for Green Bay, with Tua likely being out for Miami. Those games now look more winnable, and with the Jets looking iffy on Monday night against San Francisco, that looks iffy as well. A little more questionable for the Jets as well. So the Titans with an opportunity here to redeem themselves from that week 1 disaster. Let's talk about Titans-Jets and what the Titans have to do to win this football game. So it looks like rain in the forecast for Sunday in Nashville. Looks like cloudy, maybe even stormy, rainy weather. We know what that means. That means the run games are going to be important for both teams. And Tony Pollard had a good game for the Titans in week 1. I think Brian Callahan wants to get Tyjae Spears more involved in week 2. The Titans are going to have to run the ball. I know we keep waiting on that progressive offense, throwing the ball through the air, and I thought this week might be the week, but with the rain forecast, the Titans might be running the ball a lot. I feel good about the Titans defense after last week. We'll see if it was just a 1-week thing, but I think the Titans defense is going to hold strong. I think Aaron Rodgers is immobile. I'm not saying he can't move around, but he's in his 40s and he's coming off of a major injury. He's not going to be looking to run around like crazy like he used to in Green Bay, I don't think. So I think the Titans are going to try to bring some intense pressure because Aaron Rodgers is going to try to get rid of that ball quick. I like what Denard Wilson, the defensive coordinator, had to say, where he said, listen, I'm treating this as though it is the Aaron Rodgers of old. I am not going into this expecting that it's going to be the new, older, washed up Aaron Rodgers. No, I'm going into this expecting Aaron Rodgers. And that's how I'm preparing, and that's smart. L'Jarius Sneed, I would imagine, is going to be matched up with Garrett Wilson most of the time, and I like having Sneed there. It's good to have a corner that can maybe, hopefully, possibly be a shutdown corner. The Titans are going to have to run the ball well, but Will Levis is just going to have to be better. He's just going to have to be better. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. He's going to have to be better. I talked about it Monday on the podcast after the game against the Bears. There were accuracy issues. There were pocket presence issues. There were reckless issues. There were turnover issues. We all see the pick 6. I mean, that was his worst moment, but there were other moments in that game where he was missing open receivers, where he was holding onto the ball too long, where he was drifting to his left for no reason. He's going to have to be better. I mean, I said it earlier this week. You can't come out onto the field smirking like he does. You can't come out onto the field with your cologne and your mayonnaise and your commercials and then play horribly. You can't do it. You've got 17 auditions to be the future of this team. You failed the first. You've got 16 more to go. And in front of the home crowd this Sunday in Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee, he's got to redeem himself. I said this before, I'll say it again. We're going to find out what this guy's made of pretty quick because he had an embarrassing week 1. That pick 6 has been shown everywhere. Him with his hands on his head on the ground while the guy's running the interception back. It has been shown everywhere. It's a meme. It's all over Twitter. It's all over ESPN, all these channels. The only person who can change that's you. The only person who can change that is you. I can do a million videos going off on people for disrespecting the Titans, but if you're going to play like that, the only person who can change the narrative is you. Okay? So, Will Levis is going to have to be better. And you know what? I have faith that he will be better. He will not be perfect on Sunday, but I absolutely believe he will be better because you have to think, this past Sunday against Chicago, that was his worst outing of his NFL career, and it's only his 10th start. He's young, but it was his worst outing. Every start he made, and I'm not going to include that one Texans game from last year where he went out in like the second drive because he got hurt because Andre Dillard or whoever watched somebody run right by him. But every game he started last year was better than the Chicago game. Okay? We've seen this dude play well before. against Miami, against Atlanta, against Pittsburgh last year. We've seen this guy play much better than this. So I have faith he will be better. He will be better. Keep this in mind. I know Sunday was bad, okay? We're moving on from that, but let's keep some things in mind. Week 1 on the road at Chicago. Chicago's got a good defense. Yes, it was tough. We got out to the 17-0 lead, and I know that hurts to give that up. But at least we can say we kind of gave it away. You know, it's not that like the Bears kept driving down the field and scoring touchdowns. We, like Christmas morning, tied it up with a bow and said, here, block our punt. Return it. Here's a pick six for you. Here's a strip sack to give you a field goal. Okay, so we gave that up. That should have been a win. It wasn't. It hurts. But the Titans should have won that game. They gave it away. Literally gave it away. I've had Bears fans in my comments all week saying, thanks for the gift. Because you gave it away. It was yours for the taking and you gave it away. Okay. What that means is the Titans can at least go forward and say, hey, if we can get out of our own way, we can win some games. And I hope that starts on Sunday. It's going to be a growing process. Brian Callahan's a first-time head coach. Were there play calls that I'm sure he wishes he could have back from Sunday's game against the Bears? Absolutely. The 3rd and 6 at the end of the game with the weird pass to Chig for a yard loss. I don't know what that was. Okay. Too many end arounds to Treylon Burks. Absolutely, there were some play calls. The offensive line struggled. J.C. Latham and Peter Skoronski on that left side struggled. And they're going to have to be better. I know it's a growing process, and I know rookie offensive linemen especially, it takes time, even though Joe Alt sure didn't take time for him this past Sunday for the Chargers, but it takes time, and I get that. But they're going to have to be better. They're going to have to be better because Will Levis is going to need help. At this point, he's going to need help. He's going to need more time. Okay. Ridley and Levis, I still feel like they're not totally on the same page. They got to get on the same page because the Titans need to start winning games. Okay. In order to do that Sunday, you got to pressure Rodgers. Okay. You've got to, which you could say that any week, pressure the quarterback. But Aaron Rodgers can't move around a lot. I mean, it's not exactly Lamar Jackson back there who can run around and escape. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is older, and I think Jeffrey Simmons, T'Vondre Sweat, if they can get that push up the middle, that could be huge for the Titans. Blitzing by Denard Wilson would be great to get that pressure. And in the passing game, make somebody else beat you other than Garrett Wilson. Make Allen Lazard or one of these other guys beat you. Okay? And defensively, yes, Sauce Gardner is one of the great corners in this league. He's probably going to be on Calvin Ridley most of the time. But the Titans are going to have to run the ball, especially in the rain. And I will save my score predictions and my game predictions for the end of the show. But the Titans can win this game. We all had the bad taste in our mouth with the way last week went. It's over. It's over. We can't change it. It's over. Levis said he didn't lose any sleep over it. Some people got mad about that. But in a way, I like it because you got to move on. You got to move on. You can't get too high. You can't get too low. You got to move on. Okay? So, the Titans can win this game. They can win this game on Sunday against the Jets. I have said all offseason, I have not been nearly as big of a believer in the Jets as everybody else. Aaron Rodgers, older, coming off of a major injury. Outside of Garrett Wilson, what do they have outside? Their defensive line, outside of Quinnen Williams. The Titans can win this game. In the rain, they can do it. And they need to do it. They need to, I know it's early, I know it's only week 2, but you got to redeem yourself from that week 1 fiasco. You've got to put that behind you. Got to put that behind you. 32-1 power rankings. We do this every single Friday on the channel where we go through. I ranked these teams 32-1. I did it last week for the first time for this season. And so this week we are back once again with 32-1 Two-Tone Talk Power Rankings. And we start with the infamous bottom three, the three worst teams in the league, in my opinion. And you already know who number 32 is. It is the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers, I thought they were going to be better this year. I was wrong. If week one is any indication, I mean, they lost 47-10 to the Saints in week one. I like Bryce Young, but they look horrible. And I don't know what the future is in Carolina. My goodness. 31, the team that was at 31 last week, it is the New York Giants. Daniel Jones looked absolutely horrendous. I mean, Malik Neighbors, God bless him. I hope they can get somebody in there next year for him. The Giants just look completely defeated week one. I mean, they got whooped by Sam Darnold. So, not a lot of good going on in New York, and they're in a similar boat as Carolina. Where do you go from here? Let me get a sip of this drink. The final team rounding out the bottom three, at number 30, I went with the Denver Broncos. The Broncos only lost by a touchdown in week one against the Seahawks, but Bo Nix looked quite bad. And I understand, I mean, he's a rookie on the road in Seattle. Not ideal for a rookie quarterback to make his first start there, but the Broncos just, they don't have a lot of talent around them. A lot of their scoring came from safeties and you know, kind of, I'm not going to say fluky plays. I don't think there's a such thing, but I mean, the Broncos scored majority of their points in unconventional ways. And Bo Nix looked bad, and I think this is just going to be a growing year for him. So the bottom three is the Panthers, Giants, and Broncos. Now we go into the 20s. At 29, I've got the Raiders. The Raiders looked rough. They only put up 10 points. Gardner Minshew threw for about 250 yards, but just didn't look like a team that was, you know, it looked like a team that, like I said before the season, just kind of there. They're just kind of there. Minshew might give you some magic at times, but overall, it just not off to a good start. 28, the Patriots. I had the Patriots in the bottom three. They got the win over the Bengals. I'm not convinced that the Patriots are like going to be good. This felt like a weird week one thing that just happens where the Patriots beat the Bengals. That probably wouldn't happen any other week. I moved the Patriots up a couple spots, but I am still not convinced that the Patriots are actually good. Number 27, we've got the Saints, who also, I mean, not shocking that they beat the Panthers. I think it is a little surprising that they beat them so badly. But I'm not convinced on the Saints either. Much like the Patriots, just because of what they did in week one, that does not convince me that the Saints are actually, like, good. But who knows? Derek Carr is not bad. He played quite well last Sunday. We'll see where things go for them, but I'm going to need to see them play somebody else other than Carolina. 26, it's the home team, the Tennessee Titans. I hate to have them this low because their defense, I think, is really good. The reason they are this low is just the uncertainty of Will Levis. I mean, I don't know how you couldn't have your confidence at least a little bit shaken in him after last Sunday. And that's the main thing, you know, other than winning, that's the main thing you want to see this Sunday is you want to see him calm those fears. Be like, hey guys, it's fine. You know, we need to see him play well, even in the rain. But until he does play well, I don't feel good about putting the Titans any higher on this list. Number 25, the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals played well against Buffalo. They had a lead early. Kyler Murray, you know, they got to find a way to get Marvin Harrison more involved. I mean, you picked the guy, number 4 in the draft. He's supposed to be like the best wide receiver prospect coming out like ever. You got to find a way to get him more involved. He was open for a game-winning touchdown late in that game, and they couldn't find him. But the Cardinals, Kyler Murray showed why he's dangerous and why he can really cause trouble for defenses. We'll have to see if he can do it consistently and if he can stay healthy. Number 24, the Washington Commanders. The Commanders got to feel better about Jaden Daniels. Maybe, I mean, he had the best debut of any rookie quarterback last week, and easily. He was much better than Caleb Williams and Bo Nix. So I mean, you hope he can stay healthy because he's running around a lot and you don't want him to take any unnecessary hits. But, pretty good debut for him. Washington lost to what I guess is a good Tampa Bay team. And so they're going to, there's going to be some growth for them over time. But I still think they could be a frisky team down the stretch. Number 23, the Pittsburgh Steelers. What did I tell you about Mike Tomlin and these Pittsburgh Steelers? They always find a way to put themselves in the mix. They're the only team in the AFC North that won in week 1. The Steelers just always find themselves in the mix. Even though it was ugly as it could be, I don't even think they scored an offensive touchdown, and they still beat Atlanta. And the Steelers, I'm not totally sold on them like winning the division or anything, but they're gonna win some games. I mean, they're gonna end up 7-10 or 8-9, somewhere around there. Because I just, I'm a big believer in Mike Tomlin. Number 22, the Minnesota Vikings. Now I got to tell you, they were playing the Giants. Okay, they were playing the Giants. I understand, but Sam Darnold played really well for them. They've got Justin Jefferson, the best receiver in the NFL, and their defense is pretty good. So, I mean, I don't think Minnesota's going to overtake Detroit or Green Bay or even Chicago in that division, but I could see them, maybe pushing for a wild card spot late in the year. I mean, they could be kind of a fun little team there. Number 21, it's our friends in Indianapolis, the Indianapolis Colts. So, the Colts, and people talking about the Colts, they are hanging their hat on that long ball from Anthony Richardson in week 1. And it was pretty. Okay, it was pretty. Beautiful pass. Probably the pass of week 1. I mean, it was the best pass of the weekend. I'm not taking anything away from that. It was just a cannon for an arm. Outside of that, though, he had more incompletions than completions. He was 9 of 19. You can go look. I mean, dude was missing receivers left and right. They lost by 2. If he hit some of those receivers, they might have won the game. So everybody's talking about that one play and saying, Anthony Richardson, that's him right there. There were some other plays he missed. Okay, there were some other throws that he missed bad, open receivers. The Colts secondary also does not look good. So, and outside of Michael Pittman, I'm not too wound up about any receivers they have on the outside. But that being said, he did have that long ball. I think Shane Steichen's probably a good coach. And so the Colts stay where they were last week at number 21. Let's get to the other side of the screen here at number 20. The Cleveland Browns take a fall down this list. Ooh, boy. Deshaun Watson, what a situation they're in with him for numerous reasons. He's playing terribly. They paid him the most money anybody's ever gotten as a quarterback at that point. He's got legal trouble again. He's getting sued. And oh yeah, this time as he's getting sued, the person suing him says they've got video to prove it. So trouble is a brewing for Deshaun Watson. And even if the legal trouble wasn't brewing, he's not playing well. He's awful. And he's been awful, and that's why I said I didn't believe in him before the season. And Cleveland's defense, which was the best in the NFL last year, they got pretty much, and Dallas put up, 35 points against them? So, Browns off to a bad start, and the Watson thing is just a disaster for them, especially with Baker Mayfield tearing it up in Tampa Bay. Number 19, our friends in Jacksonville, the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags lost a close one to the Miami Dolphins. They lost to that Dolphins team that got slaughtered by the Bills last night. Trevor, had a beautiful touchdown pass. He's inconsistent to me. I think Brian Thomas is a good wide receiver that they picked up there in the first round. I still am just not jumping for joy about this Jags team. Maybe it's the Titans fan in me. They should have won this game. You talk about blowing leads. They were up 17-7, I believe, in the second half. And then that Tua Tagovailoa, I don't want to kick a guy when he's down, but Tua, who had 3 interceptions last night, he did the Will Levis play where he tried to throw it away and got picked 6. That Jags couldn't stop them in the fourth quarter the other day. So I don't know. I got serious questions about the Jags. Number 18, the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks, I wasn't high on them coming in. And they beat the Broncos, so I'm not going to just totally go all out for them. But I mean, you could do a whole lot worse than Geno Smith. He's revived his career there in Seattle. Kenneth Walker's a good running back. They've got DK Metcalf. They've got weapons there on both sides of the ball. So we'll see how things shake out for the Seahawks in that tough division. Number 17, the Bears, the team that beat the Titans. Caleb Williams did not look good at all. None of those weapons that we heard about really did anything. I think it's, the Titans have a good defense, I think. So I think that's why Caleb Williams struggled. But their defense looked good. I don't know if it's that their defense looked good or that Will Levis was just bad. But the Bears got a win, and that's about all you can say about them in week one. Number 16, the Atlanta Falcons. They dropped down the list. Very concerned about Kirk Cousins because he looks slow. Looks like he's not over the injury. And that's a problem for Atlanta if he's not, because they paid him $180 million. And they, I don't know what happened. That you opened the season at home against the Justin Fields-led Pittsburgh Steelers. That should be a game you win. You should be the best team in that division, and they looked lifeless. So we'll see what happens with them. Number 15, the Chargers. I still think the Chargers don't have many weapons on the outside, but J.K. Dobbins had 150 yards. Their defense played extremely well, and that's going to kind of be what these Jim Harbaugh-led Chargers are going to be. They're going to run the ball. They're going to play good defense, and when they need him to, Justin Herbert can make the throws. So, I mean, they're going to be tough to beat. I guarantee you that, but I still think they're not a playoff team this year. Number 14, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, the Bucs, I was iffy on them. I was iffy on them coming in, but Baker Mayfield was great the other day. Mike Evans is still an absolute beast. And if Atlanta can't figure it out, Tampa Bay, I mean, I'm going to give New Orleans a shout out too because they looked good as well. But, I mean, Tampa Bay, they won it last year, and they looked good Sunday. Number 13, the Jets. That's kind of, I'm keeping them at the same spot they were at last week. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because they were playing the 49ers, who are great. I told you every reason why I'm skeptical on the Jets earlier, so I just kept them where they were. Number 12, the Dolphins. I mean, I had them, I think, at 10 last week. I'm concerned about Tua for multiple reasons, but for them, I mean, they looked lifeless last night. They looked completely, I mean, the Bills shut them down, even with Tua. And usually the Dolphins start the season really good, but last night they were awful. Not sure what to make of the Dolphins, especially if Tua's done. I don't know. Number 11, the Bengals. To put it in perspective, I had the Bengals at number 4 last week. So they drop a pretty good ways. They looked absolutely horrendous on Sunday. So I know, I already saw somebody in the chat said, hey, no shot, you got the Bengals at 11. They lost countless big pieces, no Higgins. Burrow looks average. Reputation alone somehow gets them to a top 10 team. So maybe it is just reputation. I've said all offseason, when healthy, I think Burrow's the second best quarterback in the league. I do want to, first of all, say, currently, it's plain and obvious that Josh Allen is the second best quarterback in the league behind Mahomes. He's been great through the first 2 games. Maybe I'm just wrong about Burrow. Maybe he's just not the same guy that he was. There's obviously some unhappy stuff with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins dealing with injuries, and this is his last year there. Maybe it is just trains coming off the tracks in Cincinnati. I had him at 4 last week, so I am dropping him pretty significantly to number 11. I'm still not going to totally give up hope because the Bengals are always bad in week 1. Always. We've seen them do this before where they suck in week 1 and then they recover. So I'm going to wait before I just totally declare them as in trouble. Let's get into the top 10, go through these top 10 teams. At number 10, the Dallas Cowboys sneak into the top 10. They were not in the top 10. I've been skeptical of them, but you know what? They looked good, and they were playing a team that had the best defense in the NFL last year, and they put up like 35 points. Dak looked good. CeeDee Lamb looked good. May have been because they were playing Deshaun Watson. I don't know. Number 9, the Green Bay Packers. I understand they lost. We don't know the situation with Jordan Love. I still like Matt LaFleur. I still think that once Jordan Love gets back, even if they lose every game while he's out, and they're 0-4 when he comes back, I think they've got a good enough coach and a good enough roster that they can still salvage the season. I hope they're 0-4 when he comes back because that would mean the Titans beat him. Continuing on in the top 10 at number 8, give me the Rams. I know the Rams lost, but I thought Matt Stafford looked great. Cooper Kupp looked great. Puka Nacua is going to miss some time with an injury, and I hate to see that because he's a talented dude. But I still think the Rams, I think they're good enough to make a real push in the NFC. So I've got them staying in the top 10 at number 8. At number 7, give me the Ravens. Lamar Jackson missed some big throws in that game on Thursday night. Overall, I still think, especially if the Bengals are not good and the Browns look horrible, this division might be gift wrapped for the Ravens. I know the Steelers won, but I don't think they're going to win the division. So maybe gift wrapped for the Ravens. Number 6, I hate to have them this high, but it's the Houston Texans. CJ Stroud, I talked all offseason about the possibility of a sophomore slump for him and the Texans. It sure didn't happen Sunday. CJ Stroud was making ridiculous throws. Joe Mixon was great for them, and that's bad news for the AFC South. So I hope they level out. But for right now, Houston looks good. Number 5, I put the Eagles almost by default. I don't think the Eagles are consistently going to be a top 5 team. But for right now, I put them there just because, they beat a good Green Bay team on a slippery field in Brazil. Jalen Hurts got better as the game went on. We know A.J. Brown had a big play. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, that's a tough wide receiving duo. It continues to be. And so the Eagles, I think, are still the best team in that division. I don't know if they're consistently going to be a top 5 team in the league this year, but for right now, I got them at number 5. At number 4, I got the Bills. I had the Bills at 11 last week. I'm shooting them up to number 4. Josh Allen's just really good, man. He is really good. And, he makes it look easy. They beat a Miami team that had just come back to beat Jacksonville. They shut down Hill. They shut down Waddle. Defense looked good. I thought the Bills might take a step back, but through the first 2 games for them, it ain't happened. Top 3. Number 3, how about the Detroit Lions? I picked the Lions to win the Super Bowl this year. And, they won a clutch overtime game. David Montgomery played well. Jared Goff had a better first half than a second half, but he played well enough to win. They've got all the talent. The city's on fire for them. So I got the Lions at 3. 2, the Chiefs, of course. Nothing else needs to be said there. We all know. And then at number 1, I've got the 49ers. That is the same top 3 that I had last week. 49ers, Chiefs, Lions is the top 3 in the league. And that is my 32-1 power rankings for week 2. Let me catch up on some comments. Levis has all the physical tools to be like Josh Allen. He just needs to work on his mechanics and vision. Mentioning him and Josh Allen in the same sentence feels a little wacky. Chandler says I should add a midweek show. Possible. It is possible. I might do it. Titans are good, but Jets are a really tough team to beat, especially for the Titans. Levis is going to be pressured a ton. He is going to be pressured. Listen, after Sunday and the pressure Chicago brought, not bought. They didn't buy it. Well, I guess they did buy it, but they're going to bring pressure. Everybody's going to bring pressure to him because they saw how badly he performed under it on Sunday. So we'll see. The Titans, we'll make our prediction for that here in a second because these are the week 2 game picks. Obviously, we already had a game last night. I forgot to make my pick for that one. I would have picked the Bills, trust me. Sunday, Raiders-Ravens. That sounds like a good rebound game for Baltimore after losing in week 1. I've got the Ravens beating the Raiders. And everybody in the chat, be sure to give me your picks for each of these games. But I got the Ravens beating the Raiders. Minshew, I think, is going to struggle against Baltimore's defense. This feels like a, big Lamar Jackson game. Obviously, like I said, you're looking at a team that lost week 1 in a way that, probably left them feeling angry. So, yeah, I think the Ravens come back this week and beat the Raiders at home, too. Browns, Jags, man. I got to go with the Jags. This is an important game. I got my buddy Hacker, who hosts Sports Talk Radio there in Jacksonville. He's saying this is as close to a week 2 must-win as you can get because of the situation going on with Cleveland. They're kind of in disaster mode right now because of the Deshaun Watson stuff, legal trouble, getting sued and playing poorly and the contract and how bad they looked. This is a game you would feel like the Jags should win at home. And so if they don't, that would be a problem for them, and I would laugh. But I think the Jags are going to win at home, probably by about 10. I think the Jags will beat the Browns by, we'll say something like 24-14, something like that. 49ers Vikings. Now, if the Vikings beat the 49ers, then we got to have a conversation about Minnesota, but I don't think they're going to. I'm going with the 49ers in this game. I just think that defense, playing the Giants in week 1 and then playing the 49ers in week 2, that's opposite ends of the spectrum right there. So I think the 49ers will win this one, but it is in Minnesota. It's a tough place to go and to go play. Chargers Panthers. I mean, I can't imagine picking the Panthers to beat anybody at this point. So I think the Chargers are going to go in there and do what they did against the Raiders. I mean, God, good for the Chargers to start your season against the Raiders and the Panthers. I wish, man. I wish. Chargers in that one, I think. It's in Carolina. Those fans are already dejected after week 1. Seahawks Patriots in Foxborough. I think New England comes back down to life this week. I got Seattle winning this one. I mean, that's 2 great games for the Seahawks, too, to start the year. The Broncos and then the Patriots. Dang. How do these teams get all these easy teams to start the year? Keaton says, if I see you at the game, I'll buy you a beer. Love your podcast. Well, I don't drink, but you can buy me a soda or something. I appreciate you, though, either way. Yeah, I got the Seahawks over the Patriots. I think the Patriots are, like I said, week 1, them beating the Bengals. It just felt fluky to me. I got Seattle there. Saints, Cowboys. This is an interesting one. The Saints, they put up 47 points. I think it's a comeback down to earth week for the Saints, too. In Dallas, I got the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys, the Browns are probably better than the Saints, and the Cowboys whooped them in week 1. And I know every week's different, but I'm going to go with the Cowboys. It's their home opener. Somebody said you're going to start drinking if we keep losing. Ah, that's funny. I got the Cowboys beating the Saints at home. I mean, I'd like to see the Saints win because I hate the Cowboys, but I'm going to go with the Cowboys. Giants Commanders. Whew. Kind of similar to the Panthers. It's hard to imagine picking the Giants to win anything right now, but I'm going to go with the Commanders. I think home opener. Fans are going to be excited. This is a home. I think they were in Tampa Bay last week, right? So this is the home opener for Washington. I just think the Giants are horrible. I think Daniel Jones is bad, and the time's ticking on his time there in New York. I got the Commanders. Jaden Daniels' first win of his career. I got the Washington Commanders there. Bucks Lions. That could be fun. I think the Bucks will give them a game. I think this has potential to be the game of the day. I'm going with Detroit. It's in Detroit. I just think that Detroit's got so much talent. I think they'll beat the Bucks, but I think this one will be close. I think it'll be close. I think it'll come down to the wire. I'm starting to really believe in this Bucks team more than I was. I got Detroit, though. Colts, Packers. This sucks because I would have picked the Packers overwhelmingly. But with Jordan Love hurt, I think I'm going to have to go with the Colts because I just don't believe Malik Willis. I mean, the game is in Green Bay, so at least they have that going for them. But I think the Colts are going to win this one. As bad as I hate to say it, yeah, I want to pick the Packers, but with Malik, no, I got the Colts. Rams, Cardinals. I got to go with the Rams. I think the Cardinals, they're sneaky. Kyler Murray's sneaky. He's very athletic. He can make some crazy things happen with his legs and things like that. But I think the Rams are just really good. I really like the Rams. And I think that Sean McVay and Matt Stafford, I just trust them a heck of a lot more than I trust Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. So I'm going with the Rams. Steelers, Broncos. I think Steelers get another win. I call 2-0 for the Steelers because Mike Tomlin's defense against rookie Bo Nix, that sounds like a tough day at the office for Bo Nix. So I'm going with the Steelers there. Bengals Chiefs. You know, you're used to seeing this matchup and thinking, man, that's a big time, showtime AFC matchup. Bengals Chiefs. But with the Bengals looking so bad in week one, and Burrow not looking good, and Jamar Chase doesn't appear to be happy, and T. Higgins, is hurt. I gotta go with the Chiefs. I mean, I'd probably go with the Chiefs anyway because it's just the Chiefs. But especially with Cincinnati not looking good week one. But I will say for Cincinnati, if you want an opportunity to get back on the right track, I mean, you go beat Kansas City in week two. That would probably have everybody feeling a lot better about you. But I'm going with the Chiefs. The Sunday nighter, the Bears and the Texans. Now I'm going to be rooting for the Bears. I'd like to see the Bears follow up that week one win with a win over Houston, but it ain't going to happen. I think Houston. Now I do think it'll be low scoring. I think Chicago's got a good defense. I think they'll give the Texans a lot more trouble than the Colts did. But I think C.J. Stroud, to say I trust him more than Caleb Williams is understatement of the year. I think that Houston, it's in Houston too. So I got the Texans winning that game, unfortunately. And that's another reason why the Titans need to win, because I think the Texans, the Colts, and the Jags should all win in week two. Monday night, it's the Falcons and the Eagles. It's in Philadelphia. I gotta go with the Eagles. I just think the Falcons, I'm concerned about Kirk Cousins. He looks slow. He looks like he's not healed from that injury. Looks like he's not the same guy. But we'll see. Again, this is an opportunity. If you're Atlanta and you go in there and you beat them, now you're feeling a lot better about yourself. So we'll see. But I got the Eagles winning that one. And we shut it down with the game. Jets Titans. Let me get a sip of this drink before I talk about this. Jets Titans. If you missed it earlier, let me reiterate. I will be there. Me and the wife will be there. In the rain, probably, with our ponchos on. Week one sucked. It was big of a heartbreak as you could imagine in a week one game. And when that kind of crap happens right out of the gate, you gotta go back and regroup. You gotta go back and figure it out. You cannot let that set the tone for the season. Titans are coming home. Jets have been traveling a lot. And on a short week, Aaron Rodgers is old. He's coming off a major injury. I'm not buying into any of his weapons outside of Garrett Wilson. I think the Titans can run the ball on this team. I think the Titans can stop the run against this team. Will Levis has to recover, and I think he will. It won't be perfect. It won't be the greatest quarterback performance you've ever seen, but he has to be better. You have to learn from what you did week one. You have to come back and silence the haters and the doubters after that, because they're out there and they're all making fun of you. You can't let that stand. You cannot let that stand. You got to give this guy some easy throws to start the game, of course, just like you did last week, but it's at home. A little more comfortable, a little more cozy for the next couple weeks. Get your bearings about you. I got the Titans winning this game 24-16. Titans 24, Jets 16, and we'll all be feeling better, hopefully, after that. I'm not just saying it to say it to gas you guys up. This is a winnable game for the Titans. They can win this game. They can win this game. This is not the Green Bay Aaron Rodgers. They can win this game. That defense can stop this offense. And our offense can do better than they did in the second half. Special teams are going to have to be better too. I got the Titans over the Jets. 24-16. I hope I hope I'm not wrong. Thank you guys for joining me on Two Tone Talk. I will be back on Monday at 1 Eastern, noon Central to talk about whatever happens on Sunday. Hopefully it'll be a victory Monday and we can all just get together and celebrate, but I'll be here either way. I'll be in Nashville Sunday. If you're at the game, I'll look for you. Thank you guys for tuning into the Two Tone Talk by God pod, where we're staying way too high on the wins, way too low on the losses. Everybody have a good weekend. See you later, everybody.